last couple of seasons, these teams have been at the top of the mountain, and they just can't quite reach the Super Bowl. They take each other out. We know what goes down with Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. It's unfortunate, but my boy has not been able to be the same guy in the playoffs that he is in the regular season. But regular season, that record is impeccable. He's an electric player. Josh Allen is the same on his end, very electric player. He's made it to the AFC Championship, but the Chiefs and the Bengals are a problem. It's going to be interesting to see them start the season off against each other. This is an indicator of sorts of, two teams that have a potential to win the AFC. We know that the Ravens have only got better by adding Nuke to their receiving core, DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to be a playmaker. They added Jair Alexander at the corner spot, so that sold up the defense a little more. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a difference maker. They got Kyle Hamilton at safety, who I think is one of the best safeties in the league right now. And on the Bills side, this is a crucial year that we want to see Keon Coleman really come into his own and become that guy at receiver that they need alongside Shakir. So, prediction, Sunday night. How do you see this going down, Dub? And who do you have winning the game?
I'm honestly not sure, man, because we had a conversation about this offline. I got the Bills winning the Super Bowl. I'm just gonna go on a limb and say I got the Bills winning the Super Bowl. Yes, if they can connect the dots, they got some really good pieces on the defensive side of the ball that's going to help really augment their performance. Mm-hmm. I think this year, because they were kind of missing some key stops in the playoffs last season. They just got lucky with that game against the Ravens, and unfortunately they lost to the Chiefs in the championship game. I think they got really good pieces, but then when I look at the Ravens, such a well-constructed team. They're very explosive on the offensive side of the ball, as well as the defensive side of the ball, very explosive. A very balanced team, if you ask me. Bills haven't looked the hottest as well in the preseason. They got blew out by the Bears, 38-0. They did win against the Buccaneers in their final preseason game. So with that being said, because I got the Bills winning the Super Bowl, I'm going to pick the Bills to win. Last season, they got off to a rocky start. I actually think they lost. Did they lose 5 games in a row?
The Bills?
They didn't have a good record.
It might have been 3 games. I would have to look back, but they did have a tough spot.
Yeah, let me look at this real quick. 1, 2. It just wasn't looking that hot at the beginning of the season for the most part. But I do think that they have a very tough schedule. They have one of the toughest schedules in the league. So I think them jumping out to an early head start and winning this first game against, I would call the Ravens a rival if you ask me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so I got the Bills winning, and I got them winning by a field goal.
I like that. I got to go with the Ravens. I think that these are 2 of the best teams in the AFC, and these are 2 teams that will be competing to win the AFC at the end of the year, and it'll be a game of inches. It'll come not this game on Sunday, but when it comes down to the playoffs and who wins the AFC, it's going to be one play that we're all talking about, whether it's the Chiefs and one of their receivers dropping the ball, or whether it's the Bengals and them being able to get a defensive stop. If it's the Ravens and Lamar Jackson overcoming the struggles that he's had in the playoffs, there's going to be a storyline here of somebody making that little tweak that changes everything for them. I think the Ravens did just enough in the offseason that they've gotten that much better than their rivals and their opponents. When we look at what they did defensively, adding Jair Alexander, you've really showed up the defense to a point where it's going to be very difficult to throw the ball on this Ravens defense. It's going to remind you of the early 2000s Ravens defenses when you saw Ed Reed and Ray Lewis balling out. And Deion Sanders for 1 year that he played with the Ravens with that 37 on. But I think it's going to remind you of some of those earlier defenses from the Ravens. Offensively, adding DeAndre Hopkins is going to be I don't think you can even measure the impact that he's going to make, whether he has a huge season or not. It really opens the lanes up a lot more for Rashad Bateman and the other receivers on the team to really continue to make plays and get one-on-one matchups. Then you got Derrick Henry in the backfield. And we know what Derrick Henry does. Unlike some of the running backs who have continued to break down, Derrick Henry is a lot like LeBron James in terms of he said openly that he invests $1 million a year into his body. So he continues to remain steadfast in his strength, his speed, and the physicality that he brings to the game. And I think that's the big difference maker. Offensively, both of these teams are explosive. On the defensive side of the ball, there are some gaps and some holes that I feel like are in the Bills secondary. Watching them in the preseason and seeing DeMar Hamlin out there, and I'm glad to see him out there, but seeing him get cooked out there often, I think that we're going to see a lot more of that during the season, especially on Sunday night. I don't think this Bills secondary has enough to match up with the Baltimore Ravens. I got the Ravens winning by 10 points. I think they come into Buffalo and make an early statement. And they let the world know on Sunday night that we are here. This is our year. The Ravens are going to be Super Bowl champions. Lamar Jackson is going to get his first ring this year. And I think it starts in Buffalo with a dominant win. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. If I had to throw some picks out there for folks to take, I think you can look at James Cook and Josh Allen for anytime touchdown. You can look at Derrick Henry for an anytime touchdown. Lamar to throw at least one passing touchdown. And I like over 44.5 for this game. So I got the Ravens winning this game. And I think it's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be an exciting way to sort of cap off what's going to be a great weekend of college and NFL football.
We back, baby. We back.
We back. Listen, so Dub and I gave you our pick. If you're a Ravens fan, if you're a Bills fan, jump in the comments. Let us know what you think. You already know. We need that Mercedes-Benz treatment, the CLS to be exact. Comment, like, subscribe. We'll be back with more from me in the arena.